2004. During this time, you know, I was very actively involved in all the things that were happening in downtown, as you know. The light rail, the expansion of the Civic Plaza, working with the Colliers, Steel Park, and I'm probably missing, you know, 20 different projects, but between PCA and Downtown Partnership, and I'll say this, the city of Phoenix was always very easy to work with. They were very cooperative. I found the county much more difficult in my experiences, just a different culture, but was able to get through all of it to the finish line. The state was an enigma in those days for me. Like they were down the street but not involved. You know, it was hard to put your finger on the pulse. That came a little bit later for me. I remember Jan Brewer was adamantly against the stadium at the time. And it's ironic how things come full circle sometimes. But it did. And so 04, I decided I had the only way I could monetize the one real major investment I had, which was the Phoenix Suns, was to sell. You know, people who are involved in ownership in sports usually made their stake or mark selling widgets, insurance, real estate, whatever it may have been. A lot of them sold cars. Figure that one out, but a lot of car dealers went on to big things in sports ownership. But I was the only person who played, scouted, coached, managed, and ended up owning through the system. And so I'm sitting there with a big asset, my share of it. The only way to monetize was to sell. Very tough for me because it was like my left arm and my right leg. And you give birth to something, you know how it is with kids. And so I sold, and we sold for a little over $400 million, which was the biggest number ever in the history of the NBA. But it was difficult. I agreed to stay on in a couple of capacities that dissipated quickly because Robert, who was entitled to do exactly what he wished as the new owner, was going to be much more involved. So my official association with the Suns will end in June of 12. I'm listed as chairman, but that's only in title. There's no responsibility that's involved. But 04, I sold the team. I stepped down in baseball. I was elected to the Basketball Hall of Fame. I went to Europe, got into a fight with two guys who attacked my wife in front of a 5-star hotel. It's kind of an interesting night. I resorted back to my days on the streets in the neighborhood, and it was kind of fun to get involved again. I got pepper sprayed in the middle of all of that. It never happened to me before, and I thought I was blinded. And here we are in Paris, and we had a big night scheduled for ourselves that night, and of course I couldn't go anywhere. You know, the doctor, my eyes were just coming out of my head. So I ordered some champagne. By the way, when this fight's going on, my wife is underneath trying to pull out her purse. Not that she had anything in it except receipts for antiques that she was purchasing for her business. But that was her record, you know, all the pretty important stuff, not money or jewelry or anything like that. So she's inside pulling while the fight's going on. So fast forward, I ordered the champagne, I poured a glass for the two of us, and I said, you know, babe, for a couple of 65-year-olds, we handled ourselves pretty well. I came home, and I was given a speech somewhere, and I said, you know, it's been a pretty eventful year for me. What scares me a little bit is there's still a month and a half left. What's next? And a week later, I found out I had prostate cancer. And so I had some decisions to make about that. December 31st, I chose to have surgery in New York, as it turned out, at Sloan Kettering. My research at the time was that the two top guys in that field were at exception. But when things happen, good or bad, you don't dwell on them. That's over. That's gone. All that really matters is today. And you can plan for tomorrow, but don't plan too far out. You know, it's like when I buy landscaping now, I buy instant landscaping. I tell the landscaper, I can't have small trees. I don't have time to watch them grow. I want to watch big trees. I enjoy big trees. So I was home recuperating for about a week and a half, and I get a call from David Stern at the NBA. USA basketball is controlled by the NCAA.